Welcome back to Queens of the North podcast. I'm Gabby DePaula along with Drew Jones. Damn, we're going to week 6.
Yeah.
Week 6, right? Yeah, week 6. I can't believe it. We're over a quarter of the way through the regular NFL season. Fun stuff. The NFL is such a toss-up right now. I mean, there's a couple leading teams. I said last week there wasn't really one leading team. I think, Bills and Chiefs are up there. Ravens are up there. Maybe in the NFC, the Eagles are up there, but I don't see really anything else in the NFC that really stands out to me that is a leader in that conference. What about you?
Well, I'd love to see, Eagles Cowboys play each other on Sunday night. So I think that'll be really interesting to see if Cowboys can take Eagles off the throne there in the NFC East. I like them with Cooper Rush. I know Dak has been listed day to day, and he can now grip a football, and his rehab with his thumb is progressing. But I'm loving this backup quarterback situation going on.
Yeah, I think it's been fun. Jerry Jones said there's probably going to be a quarterback controversy. When Dak Prescott was first injured, they said he would come back within 4 or 5 weeks, when I think everyone thought that was a Dr. Jerry Jones idea rather than like the better, the latter, where everyone's saying, well, maybe it's probably closer to 6 to 8 weeks. I don't think they saw themselves being in the division where they are. They're doing great. Their defense is really carrying their team, but Cooper Rush has done his part. I really think he's done well for a backup quarterback. He's been fun to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking at like their top wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb, like even he hasn't been having like these crazy standout games either. So other parts of the offense are really coming in and doing good stuff. Tony Pollard, I've seen a couple of his highlights. Tony Pollard taking it to the house.
Yeah, he's been fun to watch as well. This past week, the Ravens played the Bengals at home on Sunday Night Football. I was at the game, and then Drew Jones was watching her Steelers against the Bills.
Take a big fat dump. Huge, smelly, stinky dump.
Well, it's Tuesday. I woke up thinking it was Monday, but Drew came in all hot and bothered.
Yeah.
About the Steelers and their devastating loss to the Bills. It was at home. We know how the Bills fan base is. We know how we're seeing a new quarterback in this league. It's his first start. Kind of unfair in a way, but hey, that's the NFL. What is fair anymore? Kenny Pickett starting his first game against the Bills. A great defense, a great offense. Josh Allen is hot. Defense. They had their first drive, their first play of the game, or second play of the game, a touchdown to the house by Gabe Davis. So that was a little unfair and not really a great start for the game for you guys. What are your takes on that?
Well, fun fact, that was the longest pass play that the Steelers have given up since like the 80s or 90s, what I saw on the broadcast. I'll have to go back and actually look what the actual year was. So that's crazy. Those are the type of records that you do not want. Also, when it's third down, like it's third and long. What are we doing? Anyway, there's a laundry list of problems with the Steelers right now. Play calling on offense. I mean, our offensive coordinator, I don't know if this is a hot take so much as like this is like a fact at this point. Like we need to fire our offensive coordinator yesterday. I mean, I'm surprised I didn't see news about him getting fired. It's ridiculous. He's not a good coach. Everywhere he's gone, he's gotten fired. And somehow he keeps getting better jobs afterwards. That's just...
What coach hasn't gotten fired, though? Everyone's gotten fired in college and the NFL. Some of the best coaches have gotten fired.
But getting fired from every single job and then getting like a better paying job right after that, or a better job, if you will, going from OC to head coach to, I mean, I've seen a lot of coaches go from college to NFL, get fired in the NFL, go back to college and then have success. For sure.
Well, Matt Canada coached at Maryland, and I actually was covering him when he was the interim head coach, filling in for someone who was fired very early on in the season. That's a story for another day, but I was covering him and I thought he did a great job calling plays. I really liked him as a head coach there. We all thought he was going to be extended, went down south for a little while, but I think his connection to the Steelers is Mike Tomlin. Mike
Mm-hmm.
Tomlin has a son that goes to Maryland, plays football at Maryland.
Right.
So, there's some connections there. I think, his son probably liked him when he was there as well. And, maybe kind of snuck his name in there. And here we are.
Little nepotism.
Yeah. Well, I think Ben Roethlisberger liked him too, right? Ben Roethlisberger was a pretty big fan of him, it sounded like.
I'm not sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe he was.
He's very
Maybe he was when he
gracious
was
towards
the
him in press conference, at least. That's what
right.
I kind of got out of that.
Yeah, Ben also was like, I'm almost done with football anyway. He probably just didn't care at that point.
Maybe he like maybe he played a different game where he said, "Yeah, this guy's great," and then they're not good now, and
Yeah, exactly. I'm just thinking back
kind
to
of
when
playing that game. Oh, you missed me, guys? Yeah.
we had
No,
Bruce
we
Arians
don't.
at one point, and missing him, missing Todd Haley, missing all these guys that we let go that were
Yeah.
actually good.
Yeah, but I trust Mike Tomlin, and again, it's not fair having Kenny Pickett his first starting game against. I mean, the Bills are just dominant right now. They don't have all of their DBs together right now because they're all injured or are on IR.
Yeah.
That took me a while. And it's Tuesday. On IR.
Yes. Say it 5 times
I
fast.
can't I
On
can't say it.
IR.
I don't know what I'm saying right now. It is Tuesday. I will say I've slept a lot the past 2 days because I had to get up early shift on Saturday. Went to the game on Sunday, had an early shift yesterday. I came home, napped for 4 hours.
Little hungover.
Woke up to Monday Night Football. Um,
Yeah,
and
that was a good
slept.
game.
Yeah, I didn't go to bed early. I watched the entire game last night because that was a good game for the Chiefs, but woke up and slept about 8 or 9 hours. So feeling good, but man, it took me a couple days to
Well, a
recover.
lot of football in there too.
A lot of football, a lot of fun football. But anyways, moving on. Steelers, who do you guys play this week?
We are hosting the Bucks at home.
Okay.
Yeah, it's tough because all three phases are not doing well, like at all. Offense, we can get the ball downfield, but our red zone offense is terrible. Defense, ugh, I don't even want to talk about it. We're now 0-8 without TJ Watt. It's crazy how one player can make that much of an impact on the entire game.
Sure.
It's a testament to him for sure.
Sure.
But it's also like, we need people to step up. Special teams, catch the damn ball.
Yeah, you guys don't
That's
really
it.
have a great gunner right now.
That's it. We should
Or
have signed
sorry,
Ray
punt
Ray
returner right
McLeod.
now.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
You don't have a great punt returner right now. Kick returner.
These are the days
a
I
little
miss
iffy.
AB. These are the
Yeah,
days I miss
Tomlin
Antonio
has
Brown.
mentioned that several times. He said, I don't punt and kick returner is a little tough for you guys right now.
Yeah.
Know that. But you guys still I was kind of surprised, I guess, of that score because I thought, we've talked about it for so long. The Steelers defense they're recognized. Everyone, you play against them. They're hard to defeat. They're hard to play against. They have some great DBs. They have a decent pass rush. Of course, it would be a lot better with TJ Watt in there. But they were still, everyone takes them pretty seriously. Offense, on the other hand, Kenny Pickett's going to throw the ball because they don't have a running attack. I was just looking at some of the stats. Najee Harris, who was on my fantasy team, I thought it'd look a little different against the Bills. He only had 20 yards on the ground, and that's 11 attempts. It's just that's offensive line, that's coaching, that's the runners not finding the holes. There's a lot of elements to that for it to work, and it's just not working right now. Like you said, I don't know if I want to go for Matt Canada's head, but I definitely think there needs to be some kind of change in there.
Yeah.
Kenny Pickett looked good in preseason, but again, he's playing against second, third stringers, fourth stringers. For some of them are probably not even playing in the league right now.
Yeah, I think the thing with Kenny is he was poised. He threw the ball well. He had 34 completions. He did have one interception, but there was a lot of good that I saw from him in a first career start. Like I think that he played well, but at the end of the day, we didn't score any touchdowns and we didn't win the game. So
yeah, I mean, he had over 300 yards in the air. And George Pickens, he had 83 yards, receiving. It just, yeah, just no scores for them. But you guys play the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
we were just talking about before we came on here, the Bucks aren't that hot this year. They've ran into some trouble. They almost lost against Atlanta. Of course, that was that big hit on Tom Brady, that what
Mhm.
they called a roughing
Roughing
the
the
passer. We
passer.
saw that on Monday Night Football as well, which I
Yeah,
neither of them I already thought was roughing the passer.
it's
They
getting
both tried breaking the
ridiculous.
fall. Actually, Chris Jones last night had pretty much the ball like in his hand to
Mhm.
recover it and have a turnover, but they took it back. We all
Yeah.
got to, they're all dabbling with roughing the passer right now because of Tua and Tua's injury. And, we don't want to see any more head injuries, but what are we going to do? Lay them down, bring a pillow, put them to bed, put a blanket on them.
I
This
mean,
is
it is
not.
tackle football after all, right?
And
Like,
they both tried breaking their fall. Like you see Chris Jones knees come out, like spreading his knees. His left arm was trying to break the fall while his other arm trying to grab the football. And he wasn't completely on top of him. There was some breathing room between those two. Just I thought it was both bad calls. I don't know what you do here. And it kind of changed the game. It almost
yeah,
favored I don't want to keep talking about the Chiefs and
Raiders.
The Raiders game, but it kind of changed the game in favor of the Chiefs because then like they had a chip on their shoulder and it
Right.
was like since that call it was just game over for them.
Yeah. Well, the officiating is just really inconsistent in my opinion. Like, if you're gonna call something, call it all the time. Granted, I
Mm-hmm.
think that it's dumb because this game is tackle football. I understand we need to, protect the quarterbacks, protect players, this, that,
Yep.
and the third, but like figure out like what the actual penalty is and consistently call it. Because there was instances where Patrick Mahomes was sacked and they were the exact same way and they weren't throwing the flags. Um, Same thing happened in Steelers Bills where Kenny was sliding, late hit. They didn't call anything,
Mm-hmm.
and also almost getting his ACL torn off by Shaq Lawson. Neither here nor there, but that's the point is
Yeah.
that they're not making
There's
the
no
consistent
consistency.
calls. Yeah.
I completely agree with that. I feel like we do say it every year though. Nothing's consistent. I thought they were going to focus more on PIs this year.
Mm-hmm.
And they really haven't. Definitely some crazy PI calls that
Mm-hmm.
weren't PIs that were PI. Not consistent.
Do we need robo refs? Like that, it might be time. I think we have the technology.
I kind of like the in-person refs. I don't mind them, but if you think about it, how old are these guys? Most of them
Well,
50, 60, 70 years old. And I'm
some of
not
them are
trying
in
to,
their 30s and
are they?
yeah, trying to
Okay.
have their glory years.
Good. Well, usually you have your eyesight still in your 30s. So
Yeah.
I feel like these guys come home, they put on glasses, take out their contacts. I think need to be a different protocol with having these old school refs. There's got to be an age.
Yeah. Well, you do you know about the like in the NBA? God, I cannot think of his name right now. I just watched the documentary on Netflix not long ago about the referee that was betting, and he was saying that a bunch of NBA referees were also betting, and then I think at that point, like he was shaving points and stuff like that. It's just like
Mm,
we like there is no way in hell that there is no gambling happening
mhm.
amongst referees in sport. And the fact
No.
that we don't hear about it and people aren't caught, et cetera,
Mhm.
is baffling to me.
Yep.
Somebody is doing it, it's happening. And based on some of the calls that we're seeing, I'm like, yo, you're either paid or you're betting on this game.
Yeah. But you know what? What sucks in this league, which makes it very unfair, teams and coaches can't go after refs in press
Right.
conferences. They can't say anything.
Right.
They can say, yeah, well, talk to the ref, or, you can talk to the pool reporter, and then we'll go from there. But they can't. And then I don't really think that's necessarily fair. I mean, you don't want to come for their heads because there's not a perfect ref out there. And they're gonna have bad calls and good calls. It's unfortunately part of the game, but it seems like it's just like more bad calls than good.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean that's what it kind of seems like. There's a ton of gambling going on where they're making these calls and
Especially
winning
when it's
themselves
legal
some money.
now. I mean, are they checking all the referees' phones? I'm sure some of them got a parlay on FanDuel. I mean,
Yeah.
come on now.
I feel you. I mean, I don't think that had anything to do with the Bills Steelers game. I think that was very
Well,
obvious.
yeah, yeah. That not in that game, but certainly
No. I think it's gonna be a low scoring game. Your defense, I think, will come up big again. I think this will be an easy. Well, the Buccaneers, they have a good defense as well. They've again a decent pass rush. DBs aren't too bad either. Their secondary is not too bad. But playing against a Tom Brady is a little bit broken right now. Injury wise, I think mentally as well. Offensive line still a little bit shaky. They still have their, we've talked about, like, they still have some offensive weapons, but
Mhm.
it's been kind of jerky if they're on the field or not.
Right.
But this might be a good game for him to like really have a good start and see where he's at rather than playing against one of the best teams in the NFL right now.
Especially at home, first start at home. Over under on tablets thrown by Tom Brady. I'm gonna say 1.5.
I'm gonna take the under. I think he learned his lesson.
Right, there you go. He even said, like, yesterday, I think he's like, I don't throw the flags, I just throw tablets. That's fantastic. Wonder how much you get fined for that these days. How much is a tablet worth?
Maybe like one of those. I mean, I'm thinking about iPads. iPads are probably about 5 grand, maybe.
Oh, I don't know if they're that expensive.
Well, think about it, your phone's almost $1,000.
Yeah, my laptop was $1,000 or
Mm-hmm.
like a little bit, maybe 1,300. So yeah.
Okay, so maybe between maybe like 2,500.
Uh,
Um, who knows? But
yeah.
yeah, I think this will be a good game for Kenny Pickett to really find his footing. Um, playing at home, like you said, playing against the Buccaneers. Almost seeing what Tom Brady's doing on the sidelines as well. Everyone wants to replicate Tom Brady, what he's doing
Right.
mentally, emotionally, physically, whatever. I think it'll be a low scoring game, so he won't have to do so much of a comeback, won't have that pressure.
Right.
Yeah, I think I definitely see a low scoring game for you guys this weekend.
I just don't know. I'm just so like I was so excited for this game this past Sunday. I was in San Diego. I got up at like 7 o'clock in the morning to drive back to LA, get to LA, watching the game, and I was so disappointed that I turned over and took a nap. So I have zero expectations for this weekend. And I'm not even gonna make a score prediction because it's gonna make me upset.
I'm gonna say
uh
Buccaneers win. I think it's gonna be something like what we saw with Atlanta, like 17, or what we saw with the Ravens Bengals, like 17,
like
19,
19,
something like that.
17. Yeah. This would probably be the worst if the Steelers lose on Sunday, it would be the worst start in God knows how long, and certainly the worst start in Mike Tomlin's like coaching tenure.
Yeah. Well, they're rebuilding or restructuring. Matt Canada probably won't see him back next year, which I think is fair. Still early. We're a little more than a quarter of a way through the regular season, but Kenny Pickett trying to find his footing. You have George Pickens. You have a lot of guys, a lot of offensive weapons, but I think you need to, incorporate the run game in there as
Mm-hmm.
well, and that's just not something you guys have been able to do. The Steelers have been able to do
Yeah,
the past 2 or 3 years. Um,
absolutely. There needs to be a lot of improvement there.
oh, I just saw Miles Boykin had a target and he yeah, he had one receiving target for 11 yards. He was on the Ravens and we waived
Mm-hmm.
him. Thank God. Good special teams guy, but that's about it. Anyways, moving
We use
on.
them.
Yeah. You guys could definitely use him in every shape, form. Shoot, put him on defense at this point. Kidding. Moving on, Ravens and the Giants
Thanks.
play this weekend.
Why did I write down Saints? Oh, because the Bengals are playing the Saints. You should see my notes right now. Look at my notes.
Is that
Here's my
Mandarin?
rate. I know, right? This is my Ravens section, and I put Bengals Saints. And here's my Bengals section, and I put Ravens Giants. That's how I'm doing today. This is how I'm doing. Anyway,
Happy
continue.
Tuesday.
Apologies. We
Happy
can keep this
Tuesday.
in. We can keep this in.
We'll keep this in. It's okay. I had a little tongue twister in the beginning of the show and I just still recovering from the past 48 hours ish. Yeah, Lamar or the Ravens play at New York this weekend. I think that'll be a fun game.
Jersey.
Um yeah, Giants are 4-1. I am not convinced the Giants are good. I think they have a good DC, Wink Martindale, who used to be with the Ravens. He has some guys that he brought from the Ravens. Jihad Ward, he was on Jacksonville last year, but he played with the Ravens previously. And then he has Tony Jefferson. Everyone loves Tony Jefferson, safety. There, he was on the Ravens practice squad, was on there was playing with them in the preseason, put him on the practice squad, and then Wink and the Giants picked him up. They have also a couple other guys on their team from the Ravens. However, I think the Giants are about to get a wake up call this this weekend. I think we're going to see a pretty high scoring game. I hope we see. I don't know. Did you watch You watched Sunday Night Football?
Mhm.
The last series for Lamar and the Ravens, Lamar pretty much ran the ball the whole time, and that's what we all want to see. Lamar's part of that offense. Well, we
Mhm.
need his legs in that way. But Lamar, I think no one's. I think they all see Lamar as this like running back still. He can't throw. He's leading the league, or he's tied in the league for most passing touchdowns right now in the pocket.
He makes some good throws. I
Yeah.
mean, Mark Andrews is his guy for sure.
Yeah. Mark Andrews is his guy. Mark has been a great target for Lamar
Marky
for
Mark.
several years. But I think, it's going to be a high scoring game. The Ravens, I was really happy what we saw with their defense, tight coverage. Marcus Peters came, with a couple takeaways. Patrick Queen, who was our first round pick for the
He's a
Ravens.
queen in the north too. Or that tweet I sent you.
Yeah. Love you, Drew.
Uh,
Patrick Queen had his first interception in the past couple games. He's had the ball, dropped it twice this year, where should have had a couple interceptions.
There's some glue on the fingers this time. There it is.
Yes, there's some glue, maybe some pine tar. And he finally caught one from Joe Burrow. But last year, Joe Burrow put almost 1,000 yards in the air against the Ravens. So the fact that he didn't even touch that, I'm very happy. Very happy.
Yeah.
Although Ravens have to see them in Cincinnati sooner rather than later. So we'll see how that goes. But I think seeing how the Ravens played on their defense this weekend was great. Ronnie Stanley came back for one series. I saw him, I think, for a couple times after that, but not many. He was on a pitch count. So was J.K. Dobbins. J.K. was in that first half a lot, and then you didn't really see him in the second half. So they're coming back together. They're getting all their injured players back, which is really exciting.
Yeah, it's interesting because last week I said that Ravens Bengals, I thought it'd be more of a high scoring game, more of a shootout, just because they have each team has pretty big offenses. Nobody had a 100-yard game. I mean, obviously, like from a
No.
passing perspective, Burrow had just over 200 yards. Lamar Jackson
Yep.
had he had 174 yards. Each of them had a touchdown. Each of them had an interception. But as far as like receiving
Yeah.
yards and rushing yards, nobody had a 100-yard game. I mean, it shows that they're spreading the wealth
Mhm.
amongst receivers and rushers, etc. But yeah, it was a lot. I mean, granted, like those two teams are pretty even keeled. So like I expected it to be close, but I expected there to be more scores.
Yeah.
I will also say this, that maybe the Bengals shouldn't have gone for it. Shouldn't have gone for it on 4th and goal, kick the damn field goal and tie the game.
Did you
I
not
think
learn from the Ravens against the Bills? Hello, you guys watched the tape.
every,
You
every
know,
at that point, like sometimes you like, I get it. Like everybody's following the analytics, like, go for it. Same thing happened on Monday night yesterday with Raiders Chiefs. They decided to go for the 2-point conversion instead of the PAT. It's like at some point, like I get it, analytics say go for it, but like be a little conservative, tie the game because you still have time left.
people
I don't
say,
know.
"Do you want?" My dad always says this, and we fight over this all the time. It's like either you win the game or you tie the game. You have to go into overtime. Blah blah blah. Your players are already tired, and I was like, "Well, Dad, it's not. You got to think about all of the elements in it. Like you said, analytics. I think it was pretty windy at Kansas City last night. The Ravens, it wasn't windy. It was actually a nice night. It
Nice
was kind of
day.
cold. It was like 50, 40, but it didn't feel that chilly. My friends that I went with brought blankets, but they really didn't need them. I didn't really wear my jacket either. It was really nice.
Mm.
Um, there's a lot of elements you got to think about that. Where is the energy going? Where's the momentum going? And who has the momentum at the time? And at that time with the Raiders, it was almost 50-50, but the Chiefs just came back from being 20 or from a 10-point deficit from halftime. And Patrick Mahomes, I don't want to go for two. I would have kicked the field or kicked the PAT.
Absolutely.
The momentum, analytics say, yeah, you're probably going to get your 2-point conversion. However, where was the momentum at?
Right.
With the Chiefs.
Yeah. Not only that, there's a, what is it, 30% chance that you won't get it. That's also that's pretty high. I would have been conservative at that
It
point in
was
the
it
game.
was close though. I mean, it was inches that he was away
Right. Like it
from.
was his knee was they called it his knee was down and he hadn't crossed the plane yet.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
I mean, it was very, very, very close. But you kind of you can't play those close games. They had the momentum in the first half, the first quarter.
Mhm.
I think we all sat back and looked at our lineups and thought, what did we do?
Yeah, I definitely didn't think the Raiders would be up on the Chiefs 17 zip.
No, I didn't
But
either. But I also
definitely
didn't
saw the
count.
Chiefs coming back.
You can't count Patrick Mahomes out. I mean, he's
Absolutely.
on the sideline, just like I'm not worried about it.
You see that
And
one
that's
video where he's like, I'm here.
yeah,
I'm here. I'm gonna put that in.
him and Travis Kelsey. It's all you really need, right?
He almost broke a record. Had Kelsey caught one more touchdown pass, that might have been a record for like receiving touchdowns for a tight end in one game.
Wow, I didn't know that. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, he had four, but he had four touchdowns and just 25 receiving yards.
I know.
That's like that's crazy.
Red zone Kelsey.
Red zone Kelsey, yeah, love that. He turned 33 yesterday too.
I guess it was like also his mom's birthday.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Cool.
That's
Cool,
cool.
cool, 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 cool.
We
So
bring it
moving
on,
on to
Kelsey.
something a little more somber. Deshaun
Yeah.
Watson, our favorite guy, back in the building in Cleveland. Ha ha ha. How do we feel about that, Drew?
I don't want to say like indifferent. That's not the right word.
I don't feel great about this at all. He can talk to coaches. He can work out. He can't exactly practice yet. He's on an 11 game suspension. NFL, we all say, is it rigged? Is it not? His first game back is against the Texans. Is it rigged? Is it not? You tell me.
Yeah. It's a very, very interesting, touchy situation. Obviously, like just from an on the field perspective, not great for everybody else in the AFC North, although Jacoby Brissett has been doing, I think, a great job for the Browns. But Deshaun Watson is very talented from a not on the field perspective. I don't know. I just feel like, thinking back to like a couple seasons ago, like you're seeing players get suspended for like 6 games for, testing positive for weed. I just feel like he should have been out for at least a year instead of, I understand they came to an agreement for 11 games so it wouldn't have to go to court or whatever, or the NFLPA was going to
I'm in,
like blah, blah,
I'm
blah.
indifferent. I almost think they should have kicked him out of the league. It's sexual assault, right?
Yeah. The tough part with it is, he settled everything out of civil court. He didn't receive any
True.
like charges from like prosecution charges from like the state. So it's like it's one of those things like at this point it's a he said she said, from a legal perspective. As far as like how we're all feeling about it, like I'm sure having to be a female reporter and to go interview Deshaun Watson like isn't going to be a great experience for a lot of people going into, those games. But yeah, it's tough as far as like my opinion. I'm like, I don't want to say like I don't care, but Browns are always going to Browns to me. So, they're going to do what they're going to do. And Lord knows they don't have a good track record with quarterbacks. So, we'll see how
No,
long he's even in
no.
Cleveland. So
Yeah. We'll see if he's good too. I'm interested to see how he does. I mean, his first game against the Texans, it's almost like a rally game. Like Deshaun Watson's back because the Texans suck this
yeah,
year.
they're
They
not
aren't
very
great
good.
this year. So they
Not
weren't
very
really
good.
great last year either, but the Texans suck.
I'm not going to tweet one thing about that game. Like I'm staying away.
Ew. Ew. I
Yeah.
mean, and like I said, I always try to preach this outside of football. There's two sides to every story. There always is, right? I just felt like there were so many females coming out.
Mm-hmm.
It's who do you believe? You're the one guy who's making multi-million dollars who can take you to court and win,
Mm-hmm. Just
or
because
the
he can
females
pay
that are
for a
coming
good
out, they have
lawyer.
nothing to lose.
Right.
For
It's
massage
tough.
therapists, they don't make anything crazy.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
it's interesting. Well, yeah, and we were talking about this before, but when the report came out that the Texans had given him a like membership to, I think it was like a hotel or a country club or something like that, where he was receiving massages there in addition to whatever he was receiving in the team facility. I'm like, okay, so we knew he might have had a problem with how many massages he was receiving. and we enabled that problem. And now you have 20 plus women coming after him and the organization. It's just a really shitty situation all around.
I think a ton of communications members left too during that time.
Really?
Yeah. So
Dang.
I think it's pretty telling in
Yeah.
that way. Not that they're hiding stuff, but they don't want to be a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Hey, I'd feel the same way. I wouldn't
they
want
want to be
to,
part of it.
do damage control over something like that if I
Right.
was, in PR for a team.
Right. Exactly. So yeah, Ravens, Giants, Steelers, and the Buccaneers. Two pretty good games, I think. A lot to watch. Kenny Pickett for the Steelers.
My
Ravens, hopefully
guy.
Lamar uses his legs more. We see a little more run game from him.
Mm-hmm.
Run game in general, from the Ravens, and I would say from the Steelers, but that's non-existent. So
Thank
are
you.
you hey,
Hey,
facts
you're
are
not
facts.
wrong. You're not
Facts are
wrong.
facts.
That's certainly facts over feelings.
Mhm.
You can look at the numbers.
Ravens had the worst defense in the league for the past couple of weeks, so those are facts. The
Yes.
facts. It
Yeah.
is. They sucked.
Yeah,
Any
we
score
got
prediction? I know you said you don't want to, but I said, like, what did I say? 17-19 for the
right. You
Steelers.
said it'd be like a little
Bucks
lower
win.
scoring, closer game. We also got Browns versus Patriots. That'll be interesting. Hey, I'm liking Bailey Zapp.
Me too.
Like we were
Cool.
talking about, look,
Love it.
he's the first rookie quarterback to throw a touchdown this season.
Cool.
I know, right? We probably all thought it'd be Kenny, but whatever. That's fine. He can have
I
it.
didn't.
It's great. It's one of those things. It's like obviously like I like Mac Jones. I think he's a talented quarterback, but I love seeing a backup quarterback come in there and do well for the team.
Yeah. Mhm.
So and especially
That's all.
hey,
An
down for the
underdog is
Browns to
always
lose.
fun. An underdog is always fun to see.
Absolutely.
And he's a third string quarterback, so yeah, he's an underdog.
Right. Yes. Like for some reason I was thinking backup. Yes. Third string for sure. And Bengals Saints. Hey, Taysom Hill put the team on his back last week. I mean, Bengals might have another test here.
Again, and the Bengals, they have they have a pretty good defense as well. I think it showed against a Ravens offense that's very dominant in the pass game and run game. So I think that's going to be a pretty big test for the Saints. Taysom Hill, yeah. I mean, I think it's just another team. It's just restructuring, trying to find their identity because they don't really have one right now. Drew Brees retiring and Sean Payton,
Right.
not the head coach. New head coach.
Panthers fired
not
their
a new quarterback. He was injured, but
yeah,
just a ton of new things going on there.
This has been a weird season.
It is a weird season. I think,
yeah,
this season, it's like we said in the beginning of this podcast, this episode, there's not one team that really stands out that's like great. I mean, Bills, Chiefs, they're good.
Right.
They're good. They're definitely good. They both have lost.
Right.
Too. They lost. I mean, Bills lost against the Dolphins, which they lost kind of in like the last second play. Chiefs lost against the Colts, which no one saw that coming. They were in my survivor pool. I thought they were going to win that game.
I think 99%.
They were losing in the first half on Monday Night Football. So I mean, they definitely have a lot of pieces together, but maybe we'll see how it goes later on. Not one team. And Eagles, everyone keeps talking about the Eagles, but they haven't played anyone, so everyone can shut up.
Yeah, what's funny about the Eagles to me is like obviously Jalen Hurts is good. Like, let's be real, so they're playing some good football, but totally agree. Like
their defense is helping them a lot though too.
They're
and
not
the Cardinals.
playing
The Cardinals
they
almost went. They almost tied the game, but he doinked it.
I think the reason that the Cardinals didn't win that game was the suit that Kyler Murray showed up in.
He looked like a walking booger.
A walking booger.
I literally saw that and thought, what made you think I'm going to wear this out and it's going to look good?
Him and Kyle Kuzma go to the same stylist. That's what's going on.
Nice. I'm literally like, you guys aren't that good either. Like teams that come in wearing, weird clothes and stuff, I have questions about. Hey, if they're good, who am I questioning? Travis Kelce has some like funny stuff that he wears, and Joe Burrow used to too.
His flower suit.
Yeah, he's had some pretty funny suits. Like Kyler Murray, like people are still trying to figure out if you belong in this league. Like I know you just got paid, but you haven't shown anything where anyone's felt like this guy belongs. He's good.
I'm a little indifferent to Kyler
Yes.
Murray because he also got drafted by the Oakland A's, and I am a really good, I'm a Oakland A's fan for sure.
No one
And
else is right now, though. They suck. Anyways,
thank you again. How are your Orioles doing?
we had a winning season.
Good
We
for
weren't
you.
supposed to.
Good
What?
for you. Good for
Oh,
you. You make it to the postseason. It's fine.
The Orioles were playing, yeah, but they were playing for the playoffs. They weren't supposed to win. They have the hardest division in MLB. Yankees. I was about to call them the Devil Rays, the Tampa Bay Rays, and the Red Sox. The Red Sox were kind of coming back. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have problems too. We I'll get back to football, but with the A's, we traded all of our players in the offseason, so we didn't have any players. So I had no expectations, but maybe Kyler Murray should have played baseball.
Oh, and Toronto. I can't believe I forgot Toronto. I went to that game.
They're out. Go Mariners, I guess.
Yeah, go Mariners. They haven't been to the playoffs since 2006. Go Mariners. I'm excited for them. That's cool. Because they kind of started off slow, and the same thing kind of happened with the Orioles with them, except for they kept winning, and the Orioles did not.
You know who played for the Orioles that also played for the A's?
Don't care. Anyways, moving on.
Miguel Tejada. You don't care? He's a Hall of Famer, man.
I'm just kidding.
Or should be if he's not.
Who'd you say?
Miguel Tejada.
Miguel Tejada. I remember watching him when I was younger. Him and Melvin Mora used to have a handshake.
Love it.
He was on the Orioles for a while, had quintuplets and everything, and actually grew up, or I think he grew his kids up in Hartford County, where I'm from. Good old Bel Air. Yeehaw.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of children.
I know. I think it was like, I don't know. I don't want to speculate, but quintuplets. Oof. Anyways.
Right. Well,
I'm going to give a Ravens prediction. I'm going to say 35-14. It's going to be questionable because of Wink. Wink knows the Ravens offense inside and out. He knows defensive schemes. The same thing with the Ravens. They know what Wink's going to do. He loves the blitz.
Hey, blitzing's my favorite thing. They don't call Steelers Blitzburg for no reason. So I'm with it with the blitz.
Yep. Yeah, I'm going to say 35. What did I say? 35-14. Yeah.
I think you had a similar prediction last week, and then they kept it real close. So,
what's your record again? The Steelers record?
You know what?
And they lost 38-3.
Did you not just say it's a rebuilding year?
Restructuring, but yes.
Restructuring. I'm just gonna go die in a hole. That's really about my team right now.
Bring that Canada with you. Okay.
But I'm gonna go with a really lofty prediction right now.
For the Ravens?
I don't think the Giants are that great either. But
we're going to expose them on Sunday.
I'd love to see the Giants beat the Ravens. I would love that. That would make me feel really good.
And all of a sudden, my computer's on low battery. See you later, Drew.
Yeah, it's like week 6, and now we're starting to trash talk. Here it comes. Well,
what was your score prediction? Giants win what?
Let's go like 2017.
Okay.
Because we know that the Ravens can give up games late. We know if it's down to, game-winning field goal. I think at this point they're 1-2 in that situation. So,
who's your kicker again?
Chris Boswell. He was 20-mile-per-hour wind, homie.
Justin Tucker would make that. He makes 90% of his.
Hey, I'm here for the Selly though.
Career.
His Selly, Justin Tucker's celebration, that was great. That's the type of stuff I love in sports.
Yeah, he's a goat. That's why he knows it.
The iron toe.
Iron toe. Apparently an angel of a voice too.
Well.
But I think that is it for us for week 6 of the Queens of the North podcast. I'm Gabby DePaula with Drew Jones. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.